What is going on, Cheesepuffs? It's your pal Cheeto here, and welcome back to another episode of Chillen with Cheeto. Hope you guys got your favorite drinks and your favorite snacks. I hope it's fruit snacks. Is it fruit snacks? I hope so, because we're going to be chilling for a bit. I hope y'all guys are doing good. Man, I would be so great if I had a Pepsi. Oh, wait. Here we are. Pepsi. I love Pepsi. Alright, so in this episode of Chill with Cheeto, we are going to be looking at my top 5 PlayStation 2 first-person shooter games. I was having a hard time finding the topics. I went in the game room and I said, look at all these PlayStation 2 games, and they're shooters. So maybe I should do an episode on first-person shooters. So before we start, make sure you take this Pepsi to hit that like button. Also share with a friend and make sure to subscribe for more Cheeto-rific content. So without further ado, let's check out these first-person shooters. We're pressing that play button. Here we go. Alright, Cheesepuffs. So number 5 was one of the first-person shooter games that I liked because it had to do with history and the Civil War. So without further ado, here it is. It's called The Civil War: A Nation Divided. Now, I do not remember where I got this from. I think I got this from Walmart. And I remember, you know, as a kid, I was always playing Medal of Honor, going to Japan and Germany. And so this was a good game for me because the Civil War was one of my favorite wars of all time. So I bought this game and I fell in love with it. The thing I liked about it was like the historical backgrounds of certain battles. And before you enter the battle, you would give like a little history lesson about I think there was one in Fredericksburg, Selma, Bull Run, and I think the Chickamauga. I think that's how you pronounce it. So I love this game. I mean, graphically it's okay. The combat it's all right, but the best part about this game was that you get to play the North and the South, and the weapons are great. And I remember one thing about the battle. I think it was Selma, I think. And I remember I kept dying so much that every time I died, I had to start from like the beginning. So every time I got far, I had to save over and over and over, every little inch. Because I remember I was on, I think it was like a health bar. You had like 5 stars, and I was on my 1 star, and I saved every crouch, every shot. So yeah, Civil War: A Nation Divided. I would definitely pick this up, especially if you are a history nerd like me. Now the next game on the list was something I was not totally familiar with. I was used to Call of Duty, I was used to Medal of Honor, but this one it's awesome, but it was strange for me. It's SOCOM Navy SEALs 2. The thing I liked about it was that you get to be the leader. You get to lead your squad. You get to execute the orders, whether it's fire will or deploy grenades, or charge after this target or this, You could do literally everything, but you also had to watch out, because if you did the wrong order, chances are your teammates were dead, and if they were all dead, you had to start a mission all over. And the thing I liked about it was that it was just like executing orders. Is that I got to plan my attacks, and it's really what you think. It's SOCOM Navy SEALs. Like, it's a stealth game, so I remember some missions where it took 3 hours just to finish the mission because I wanted to do it stealthily. And trust me, you won't get far if you're not stealthy enough. So, but unfortunately for this game, even though I got this from a friend, this ain't originally mine. But the thing is that I remember I was on the last level, and I remember that this game kept skipping. There was no way I was gonna beat the level, and on days when it wasn't skipped, it was a timer, and I do not like timed levels at all. I'm sorry, but don't worry. I think the other game was SOCOM Navy SEALs Combined Assault. Now that one I definitely have beaten. But yeah, SOCOM Navy SEALs. If you want a first-person shooter that's just very challenging, this game is for you. Oh, and also I forgot that SOCOM is also a third-person perspective, but I always play first-person. Okay, so now is one of my all-time favorite Call of Duty games from the PS2. I remember when I played it, I fell in love with it, and I would still play it today if I can hook up a PlayStation. But it is the one and only Call of Duty 2, the big red one. Oh my gosh. I remember playing this. I still fell in love with it. I remember like, I think Hawkins was one of your squad mates, and Brooklyn, poor guy. I love Brooklyn. He was funny, and spoilers. That's all I'm gonna say on that. But yeah, I mean, I like the guns. I think like the M1 Garand was one of them. The Car 98 was good. The sniper rifles, the levels are pretty good. Even the characters are funny at some points. But yeah, this game is just amazing. I mean, if you are a Call of Duty fan, you need to pick this up, and I promise you, by the time you are done playing, you will say, Cheeto, you were right. This was the best game I've ever played, Call of Duty game. So yeah, Call of Duty 2. And also one thing, before we go to the next game, that there was also times when you were on an airplane. I think it was just one time, and I remember just killing all the enemy planes and just trying to see how much I could get. Even dropping bombs on ships. That was just pretty epic. But yeah, once again, Call of Duty 2, Big Red One. Big Red One. And now these games were on other episodes, so once you'll know when I pick them up, you'll be like, oh my god, Cheeto, you're reviewing them again. Well, guess what, I am. So the next game on the list is Viet Cong Purple Haze. I remember getting this at the coast one time. I'm from Texas. I remember going to the coast, and I remember that I had to choose between Viet Cong Purple Haze and Raw vs. SmackDown 2005. I picked this because I was a history nerd. You know, I was already in World War II, and I didn't get the Civil War to that game much later. So I wanted to do Vietnam, and I remember the first time I played it. I remember I ran into a tripwire on the first mission, and it scared the beep out of me. I'm not kidding. And then I remember the tutorials, the drill sergeant, and I'll never forget when he started cussing. My mom was listening in the background. She's like, "Oh my God, did he really just curse?" You know. Oh my gosh, I mean, this was my first M-rated game, so I was not used to those kind of colorful words. But yeah, the levels are pretty good. I love the weapons. I love the M16. I love the AK-47, the M60, the grenade launcher. I love that stuff. And one thing about this game was that this was one of the games I never took care of. This CD was scratched to the brim. I don't know how it works, but at least the second to the last level, I have to open the lid of the PlayStation and spin it around just to get it to work. But yeah, Viet Cong, Purple Haze. Also, before we get to number one, is that they also have like a quick start where you can choose to go alone, a medic, or choose half your team. It's pretty cool, and you can also select like the type of enemies, how many enemies. It is just pretty cool. I would play this for hours if I was still a kid again. Alright guys, if you watched my Medal of Honor episode, you know what game is coming next. I play this all the time as a kid. I think about it almost every day, but it's the one and it's the only. I mean, I know I was saying one and the only on their games, but this is the one and only. The last one. This is Medal of Honor Rising Sun. I remember playing this before school, and since I didn't have a memory card at the time, I would do the first 3 levels. I know 2 was like Pearl Harbor, like during the attack, and then 1 where you I think it was like make the escape, and the 3rd is the Philippines. And the thing was, every time I kept going with the missions, eventually I turned it off, and I knew I would have to start from the opening cutscene. It was just getting annoying, and I remember at one point, I think it was the bridge of the River Kauai. I think that's how you say it. I remember that I had to go to Walmart, and I told myself, you know, I have a good chance of beating this. So I went to Walmart, I bought myself a memory card, and I remember beating this, and I remember just being in awe. I was like, oh my gosh, I beat Rising Sun. And also, what was pretty cool about this game was the 2-player mode. It's basically, I think it's basically the same game. It says that you have a buddy with you. Unfortunately, I couldn't get Big Cheese to play with me because he's not around anymore, poor guy. But, and also just regular multiplayer with just which is AI. Which is pretty cool too. I would definitely recommend this. If you are a fan of Medal of Honor, this is your game in your collection. I would definitely buy it. I don't know how much it is now, but trust me, it's worth it. Oh, Pepsi time! That's good. Alright guys, so this has been my top 5 first-person shooter games. Although one of them is a first-person shooter, but it's also a third-person shooter, but it's classified for me as a first-person shooter. I hope y'all guys enjoyed this episode, because I know I did. I miss doing Chillen with Cheeto. Hopefully next time I'll come up with another idea and it'll just blow you away. But unfortunately, you know what I gotta do. I got in this right here. If you like this video, take all these games and put them in your PlayStation. Doesn't matter what order, and I hope your PlayStation plays all these games. And also to share with a friend and make sure to subscribe for more Cheetoriffic content. And speaking of videos, I, Cheeto, will be seeing you guys in the next video. You guys take care and y'all have a great Cheetoriffic day.